Welcome back to another episode of Void City Reviews and a show we have not done in a while called Is It Good? And today, well, first let's get started. I'm Dan.
Toast.
And we saw The Flash this past week.
Yep.
We've talked about it a bunch. We finally saw it. And we're here to discuss if we thought it was good.
Yes.
As the title would imply.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
It's good.
I liked it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Maybe a couple little nitpicks here and there we could get to, but overall,
there are nitpicks.
it was an enjoyable movie, and I'm sad that the last 3 years had to happen to put it into the sad place that it currently exists in the box office. The shattered remains of theater-going experience.
There's that. Yeah.
Oh, there's just a lot of things that lined up to make this movie not have a very good time, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. Which sucks.
Yeah.
Because it is a good movie.
People
should see it.
It's one of the most enjoyable ones out of DC probably in a long time, I think.
Yeah. It's got action.
It does.
There's
plenty of it. Starts out with a ton of it.
There's emotion. There's a good story.
There is.
I mean, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
I think my problem is with the bookends.
Yeah.
So I don't really necessarily like the beginning.
Oh, really? Didn't like the beginning
hospital
either?
scene.
Oh.
And the ending. But the answer is yes.
Go see it.
It is a good movie and
Yeah.
it's good.
Go see it. Just go have fun at the movies. Or at home. Or whatever. Wait till it's streaming in like a week. If probably if Shazam is any indicator. Yeah.
So Flash.
Yes. Flash. Let's get back to that.
I wasn't a fan of the hospital scene.
The saving the babies?
At all.
No?
No.
Oh, I was laughing the whole time. I loved that scene. But that was me not caring that they gave him Wally West persona in a Barry Allen movie or scene.
Yeah, I don't care. I've long said Barry and Wally are interchangeable white dudes to me.
And I'm a real long-distance runner and have been for decades, and I can tell you, you're a skinny dude who runs all the time. You got to eat some food all the time.
His running stance. Can we...
It got a little bit better in this movie, especially the further the movie got on, but it's still kind of hilarious. I have to assume it has something to do with the fact that he's traversing like miles with each step. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Because at first, so like the initial stance of his like 90-degree footway...
Like his starting blocks thing,
whatever.
when he's going to activate the Speed Force or
whatever that is.
Yeah.
Is its own thing.
I think that's just him psyching himself up. Like when Neo does that thing before he flies, does he have to do that to fly? No, he doesn't. There are no rules. He could just, I'm flying now, but he has to show off and be all dramatic, and I think the Flash does that too. I don't know. I mean, we learned from his past self that he is quite the dramatic person in life.
So then the running.
Yes.
It's fine.
It's whatever.
I got more used to it about halfway through the movie because in my head, if you're taking a video or even watching just a wheel turn, at some point it starts spinning faster than the frame rate, and then it starts to look like it's going backwards.
Yeah.
So like, if it can look like he's running slowly, even while he's running very fast because frame rates and whatever. Like, I got more used to it, but there's still, like... They've got him...
I think I get what you're saying. Like, he should be going like this, but he's just doing like this, even though everything around him is like...
Yes. Because there's the composite shots where he's in the foreground, running apparently slowly, and the background's speeding by. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to accept this because of frame rate, and just... Okay,
I always just assumed it was something to do with like the Speed Force. Like he's outside of our entropy.
What?
Or something.
What?
I don't. Like, are we going to talk about some physics now or something? Like he's not. That's why. I think that's what the director was trying to explain about why the effects look the way they do. Like he's not even in our plane anymore. Well, everything's going to look weird and strange. Like light isn't even bouncing off stuff at the way we can perceive it. Like.
That's another thing.
I think there's just no way to accurately show what they're supposed to show in a visual way without it looking ridiculous.
Well, they did pretty well on his run to Gotham. And he's like...
Well, that's because it was all super far away. It was just lines of fire, like Back to the Future style.
Yes.
Running to Gotham looked good.
The grocery store. So we're skipping all the way to the end.
Oh, yes.
The grocery store. And he's moving fast. And it's speed forcing. And just lightning is everywhere. And I'm like, is this a Highlander movie all of a sudden? Like, even if he's moving super fast, moving a can, and like, there's still repercussions to lightning.
But see, that's why I think that's Speed Force. That's stuff he can see and interact with and stuff, but it's like, I don't know. Unless he focuses it to a point, like, I don't think it affects anything, really.
Seemingly not.
Yeah. But who knows?
Unless there's some intentionality to it with it.
Yes, with the...
Complete the circuit, Barry.
Yeah, with the Go-Go Power Rangers. I don't really know what was happening.
Whatever.
With that.
So I wasn't really a fan of the hospital scene. Because he's clearly moving faster than the speed of light.
Well, things around him were still moving, so he was probably approaching the speed of light. Because if everything had stood still and he was still going, then I'd be like, maybe, okay.
I would like math to be done on that scene.
I would not.
How much time passes in flash time versus how long it would take for a baby to fall?
13 babies to fall out of that building and land on the ground?
Because we should be able to count how many stories up they were.
Yeah.
This is mathable.
There is a Mythbusters in here somewhere. If that show were still on. Get on that, guys. So we're at the beginning of the movie, right?
Uh-huh.
Helping Batman stop a heist in Gotham City.
Oh, there's
Falcone's son, and he's got some virus he stole. We don't know why or what he's going to do with it. He just stole it, and they're chasing him, like every scene. Yeah, didn't really matter at all. And he's talking to Barry.
Don't send the fast guy after the speeding truck.
No, we'll send a guy on a bike who we don't even know is there yet. Who, by the way, on the phone, whose voice was that? In any scene where he's not standing with someone in person talking to them, you cannot tell me that was Ben Affleck's voice. It did not sound like Ben Affleck at all. And most of the scenes of him, I feel like other than him standing on the bridge with them afterwards, he was not there for any of that. It looked like they just stuck his face on the stunt driver for the motorcycle.
Probably.
Like, even for the close-ups of his, like, face shot, like, talking stuff.
Probably.
And it didn't even sound like him.
It did.
I don't get what was with that voice. I don't know how he's talking about these are some of his favorite Batman scenes he's filmed. There was, like, one, and it was goofy as hell. And again, it had to have stupid Wonder Woman in it.
It was funny. And
making the same jokes they make about Wonder Woman. They've done that joke 3 times now.
It's not good.
Oh, Batman's holding the thing and he said stuff he shouldn't.
But at the start of that, so she shows up.
I mean, I was surprised by her showing up. I didn't expect it.
I wasn't expecting
cameo
it
they didn't ruin.
I wasn't expecting it either. But she's on the bridge.
Yeah.
Lassos. Camera pans up. She makes a comment that they definitely cannot hear. And I'm like, who is this? Who are you talking to?
Yeah. She's on the bridge and catches him with the lasso. And then flies to leave.
They're like,
what?
They're like 35 feet beneath her. They
and
cannot
she remembered she could fly.
They cannot hear her comment. Oh, God damn it.
Did we like this movie? Was it good? Yes.
Yes.
There are just little parts that were goofy.
Still.
Yeah.
Phone call.
Which phone call? The last one?
No. Well...
We'll get to that.
If you're talking about voices, then the last
one was actually the voice it was supposed to be because it was immediately recognizable as who it was.
I didn't.
I did.
I didn't recognize
I knew he was coming, but the second I heard the voice, I'm like, that's his voice. I think I would have recognized that in the theater because he has a very specific way of talking where you can just hear the arrogance and the ego. It was dripping out of the phone onto Barry's face. Like, you could see it. You could see it.
So I didn't recognize the voice for either of the Bruce Wayne phone calls.
Yeah.
But he's talking to his dad, which somehow...
It's Ron Livingston now.
Somehow cell phone signals carry also through the Speed Force. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense, that one either. But...
Well, he talked to his dad, and then he ran, and then he talked to his dad again. He kind of, like, stopped talking to his dad, because I think his dad thought he, like, lost him for a second. He's like, are you still there? You just kind of stopped talking because you're standing in the street staring at a house for 10 minutes. Like,
yeah.
I have a timed phone call, buddy. I'm in prison. Hence why they hung up on him 2 seconds later.
So Barry goes to the past.
Yep.
And then once he comes back to the future, all of that I enjoyed. I think probably until, I don't know, like 15 minutes until the end. Here's the thing. He's supposed to be a forensic investigator, right? Analysis guy?
Supposed to be something. He works there doing something there.
Something.
He could be the janitor for all I know.
He's doing something. Some sort of analysis something. Mm-hmm. At no point in his time travels does he say, hey, why don't I just hang around the house and figure out who killed my mother? What? I'm going to move some cans. This is the best thing I can think of.
How did I not think of that?
I'm going to move.
Why didn't he just like stand outside the window with the camera
now
and be like, gotcha?
Possibly, but this isn't stated in the movie. Possibly he realized that would f things up too much in the time stream.
I don't think he realized that until the only place he would have realized that would have been like at the end when he already realized he couldn't change nothing because of the spaghetti noodles.
Well, I think
time travel is spaghetti, according to Michael Keaton.
What just before the end credits is, I think, when he might have realized, oh shit.
Yeah.
For a second or third or fourth time.
I think he realized it subconsciously while he was giving the quote to the media. He said the thing about, we went and I made and Dad spaghetti.
Yep.
I did a quote. But
so, we're jumping all over the place.
Anyway, yeah, we are kind of.
But Iris.
That's fine.
Iris. Right?
Yes.
Other Barry
yes.
has a date with Iris.
Yeah, that he blows off.
Yes. He blows off.
Which he always blew off.
They travel to Russia. And then he immediately starts crushing on Supergirl. For the rest of the movie. I'm like, oof.
Well, I mean, she's Supergirl.
You
and
really
she
are
also
fast.
didn't, like, take advantage of him for her job immediately. Which is kind of the first thing Iris did.
But that's future Iris. It was weird.
Well, a lot of things, it was a long day. A lot of things happened to him that day. It was a very Zod-filled day of bad things happening.
So I think those are my complaints. And it's small stuff, really. Like, you can't hear Wonder Woman on a bridge. Barry still screws up, which is kind of understandable. And the hospital scene I didn't like. But you gotta show off his power somehow. I would just have done something different.
They were trying to one-up the Quicksilver Mansion scene. And I think
it's tough.
They kind of found a way to do it. I think if the effects had been just a little bit better, but as movies have proven, making a CG baby apparently is impossible. We just can't do it.
Well, even the dog
can't be done. The dog at least had expressions. The babies all looked like living Cabbage Patch horror movie dolls.
Yes.
They looked like that baby from Twilight. Good Lord.
So special effects. In the Speed Force bubble, there are some weird pans.
Everyone looks kind of like
a weird pan around a still Cavill. I'm like, this does not look good.
Yeah, but part of me wonders if that was on purpose. Like, he was just recognizable enough to be Cavill, but maybe not recognizable enough that we got to pay this guy a lot to be in a movie we already took him out of.
I don't know.
After we filmed like multiple different endings that had him in it.
I'm sure he got paid regardless.
Probably. They should have had what's-his-ass direct this movie. Oh, Zack Snyder. Yeah, that guy. They should have had him direct this movie with all these weird slow-mo shots. They could have got someone who knew what they were doing, at least, with a slow-mo camera.
Then I would not have enjoyed it.
Oh. Anyways.
It would have been stripped of everything, including color.
Oh, what? Oh.
No humor. No color.
There's humor. It's just appropriate, not Joss Whedon humor. There shouldn't be humor when Zod is murdering thousands of people in Metropolis anyways.
Things I liked. Two berries
were hilarious.
Are great together.
Yeah, I mean...
Two very different Ezras, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know how they
were
accomplished
at
all of that.
odds with each other. I mean, it was 2 different actors. It was him and then another guy, and they just somehow put his head on the other guy
But all of the
perfectly
timing-
most of the time. It was all pretty damn good. There was only a couple of scenes where it looked a little bit strange, like they didn't quite match up his head movement quite, but they still pasted it on. It looked pretty
All of it
good.
was great. But so some of the CG I wasn't a fan of, but largely it was great.
Yeah, it didn't really bother me at any point. I thought the cameos were interesting. Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm.
So we finally got to see Nicolas Cage Superman. That was fun. Apparently that was really, he went there, he filmed that whole thing in the suit,
I'm sure he did.
and then they just completely CG'd his face to look 30 years younger.
I
But
think he's up for literally anything.
I'm Nick fucking Cage! I'm not afraid! You can't kill me! I will live forever! Ah!
oh, yeah. Yeah, they said he was very enthusiastic that whole time.
I'm sure.
For his 2 seconds in the movie.
Fighting a giant spider.
Yep.
It's
On
Michael
that
Keaton.
note, Michael Keaton
Killed every scene he was in.
kicked ass.
It's
And I
fantastic.
didn't even mind the fact that almost any time he does something in the suit, it's a stuntman or computer animated. I don't care, because
Well, even
anytime
before
you
the
see
suit.
his face,
The kitchen scene.
oh, the kitchen scene, 100% was
Oh, yeah.
not him.
No.
None of it was him. Hence why you didn't see his face through
Right.
any of it.
Yep.
But it was still an amazing scene.
It was great.
And it was crazy. It's the freaking kitchen from the Tim Burton movie. Like the whole house, the inside, they're all rooms from the Tim Burton movie. How did that happen? That was pretty good. That was some good details.
So Keaton was awesome. Supergirl, also awesome.
Yeah.
She murders a bunch of people.
Yeah, but they're random Siberian terrorist people. I don't know who they were. They were just bad guys.
Russians.
They were bad
Russians.
guys. That's
Bad
fine.
Russians.
She didn't learn morals yet. She had no Jonathan Kent to teach her.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
all fine.
Yeah.
It was an
It
awesome
was
scene.
fantastic.
But she's awesome, and I hope she can do more, because I would love to see more of her.
I kind of want DC to just straight up copy Marvel and make a what if universe show just based out of the end of this movie. Flash will be the thing that makes all of them happen. Just do what if. Show all sorts of things. Just every episode starts in the Chrono Bowl spinning around. Oh, what about this one?
I wouldn't watch it. I can't remember how we came to this conversation, but my wife and I were talking, and I think it was in relation to Flash, just how nothing ever ends anymore. Like, everything is just going to be referenced or rebooted, I think, for the rest of our lives. Like,
Yeah.
if they can pull out George goddamn Reeves,
And Christopher Reeve, Helen Slater, and
still hate his face.
it wasn't even him, and you still hate him.
Still hate his face.
It was better than I thought it would be.
It's really good. I mean, there's some strong character, emotional stuff in there.
My only real gripe is the very end. The very, very end. And even though I laughed out loud both times I saw it, because it's hilarious, it just doesn't fit with the rest of the movie. I mean, we get a call again from Bruce Wayne on the phone, who clearly isn't Ben Affleck's voice again, and he's like, oh, I'll be right there, I'm about to pull up, and George, white-bearded, like Santa Claus, white-bearded Clooney gets out of the car, and you get Barry with arguably the funniest line in the whole movie, just because it's so unexpected, and he's like, who the f*** is this?
See, you mentioned...
I love that line, and I love that he says it, because that's exactly what I was thinking is, why the f*** is this?
You mentioned a in the Flash movie, and I'm like, I don't think... I didn't catch it in Guardians 3. I saw the headlines that it was coming, and I didn't catch it. And
He
then,
says, get in the f***ing car.
and then I didn't hear it in the Flash. I think I'm just swear blind.
See, I hear it because I know they can't say it. So when they do, it catches me off guard. I'm like, what?
Years ago, and on TV, I was definitely aware of everything. And now I've seen 2 movies where are supposed to be a big deal, and I didn't notice either one of them.
And they were both because of James Gunn. Funny enough.
Is it,
In like the same month. I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not. I feel like it was probably more appropriate in The Flash, though.
Yes.
I don't get, if there is supposed to be a sequel, like, where do they go from there? Unless he immediately jumps back in time and is like, oh, damn it, and has your idea of, maybe I should just look in the window and see why there was that big crack of thunder right when my mom died.
Well,
the thing that they stuck, did you notice that? There is literally thunder in the movie, like the Flash sound, like the... Like
that's fine.
Right before the dad pulls into the driveway.
That's fine. And I'm okay with that. But from my perspective, I'm like, they just don't know, and that's why it never gets addressed. They just never thought enough
I think
to figure
they
it
just
out.
really wanted to leave it for a whole different movie.
I was at least thankful for minimal Dark Flash.
Me too.
So you see him a
We
bit,
did call that.
You see him a bit sporadically, and then
you see him twice
at the end. Yes.
You see him literally
But
for 1
spread out.
second, and then for 1 second, and then at the very end.
Yeah.
That's his only time in the movie, which is good. And he is exactly who we said he would be, so that's kind of funny. I mean, that was kind of obvious after a while, but...
Well, as soon as he gets the first blade.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
clearly.
I was like, that should feel worse than it does, even if you phased or didn't phase. Like, there's a giant... It's coming out of you. It's
nothing good.
Oh, no. You reminded me of my other, maybe possibly favorite scene of the whole movie. When they get in the plane and they're sitting there and Barry puts the cowl on, young Barry, for the first time. And the mask, because it can't turn, it just stays and it just crushes his whole face.
That was good. I was misled by the trailers about which Barry was which, since it's young Barry in the new suit for most of it.
That is true. I was wondering if they were going to pull a bait and switch on us. The second he gave the suit to young Barry when he lost his powers, I'm like, oh no, he's the one in the bat suit? Oh no. But no, they switch back. One of my favorite parts in the movie was Michael Keaton attempting to take on Namek. He did a bit better than Clark did in Man of Steel, I'll tell you that much.
It was good.
But it also pointed out exactly how a fight between a Kryptonian and Batman should go.
Yes.
Which is, he will not even hit you. He'll just maybe throw you down a little bit once, and you're going to die. All your bones and your organs will be just pulped inside of you, and your guts will come out your mouth, and you will just fall down and die.
Well, there's that, yes.
And you will have done nothing to hurt the Kryptonian. You maybe made him take a nap for 30 seconds.
Because... So talking about that, and there was something when we were talking about Supergirl versus Russians earlier that I didn't say, which is you see her punch somebody and they go flying off into the mountains, but that's not how physics work. Like, if you hit somebody that hard, they're just going to be pulverized.
Yeah, his body should have exploded.
But that's...
My thought is that maybe she, like, was doing, like, grab shoves, like, real quick, kind of basically, like, shirt grab and...
I don't know.
Like throwing?
I don't know.
But
still.
Even then, yeah, physics, we're just big like water balloons. Like, they would have exploded.
I don't know if it's
hardcore.
I don't know if it's everything since the Matrix or if it predates the Matrix, but like there's a ton of things that just don't make any sense. Like people getting thrown into concrete and the concrete buckles
and breaks.
Right. Like, no.
The only time that would work is if it's like one of those crappy facades on the front of a building where it's like paper mache basically underneath, and there's like a little thick layer, like a thin layer of concrete they sprayed on the surface to make it look like stone, but really it's not. Which is how I explain the end of The Dark Knight Rises when Bane is fighting Batman on the courthouse and he straight up is punching dents out of like stone pillars, and I'm like, that would like knock Batman's head off his body. Oh wait, it's like paper mache. That's fine.
So it's, I don't know.
I could accept that-ish a little bit. But yeah, there are some things like that where I think they just couldn't show what really happened without it like an X rating. I mean,
yeah. But still, it's really good. I seemingly have a lot of complaints, but really it's a good movie.
The him losing his tooth scene.
Ugh.
I'm like, why did this even happen other than to be kind of hilarious and also really gross for a second?
I don't know.
And that's the only thing that a little bit redeemed the last scene of the movie, was that the very last thing that happens is he's like, I guess I f***ed up again. And then his tooth falls out of his mouth again, and that's it. And he's like, oh.
It's so weird.
So that was sort of funny because I'd almost forgotten that happened. And I was like, oh yeah, oh.
Super glue.
Yeah, and that scene, I'm like, you know how much that would hurt? Let's stuff some super glue into your exposed tooth nerve cavity hole. Oh. No. Just no.
One last thing.
Oh.
So afterward, again, talking to my wife, and she says there wasn't really a villain in this movie. And I'm like, yes. Like, the whole thing was just Barry versus himself.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And I've heard Gunn wants to do more of that, get away from, like, villain-focused superhero movies, and I think it's a great idea, and this should be used as an example, I think.
I keep on seeing the complaint, oh, the villain was lame. I'm like, that's because he wasn't a villain, and you're an idiot who didn't pay attention.
Dark Flash?
Yes. I'm talking about Dark Flash. I'm like, but the whole point was...
It's Barry.
Yeah. Like,
he did
pay attention to a movie.
He did a thing that he wasn't supposed to do.
Yeah.
And the whole rest of the
movie, he needed
to
figure it out with
recognizing
himself.
that.
Yeah. Like, it's a strange, wacky world out there now. And maybe we should go back in time and change it.
Did you learn nothing?
And if you guys are curious at all as to where Barry got that new suit with his little power meter on it that he has in the very beginning of the movie that he looks at like it's going to be important and then never checks again ever in the entire rest of the movie, not once ever, you never even see it again. He gets it in the comic book series that takes place before this movie that has him and Batman having adventures. He's basically like Bruce's new Robin. That's kind of why they hang out the way they do. He's like Bruce's first new mentor since Dick Grayson died. And that's why he's kind of happier and having fun again. Like, Barry wasn't lying when he's like, we're basically best friends. Like, he is Bruce's like only friend and hangs out with him all the time. That's why he can fight now. That's why he's so much more disciplined than young Barry. It's where he gets the suit.
Because for the both of them, they don't have many.
No.
He at least acknowledges he has some social issues.
Yeah.
Which, again, is fantastic character material.
I like that he like yelled at himself like, here's all the shit no one liked from the other movies you were in. Like, you just talk all the time and make quips and think you're cool and you're not. I was like, holy shit. Was that just written by like a movie critic? Like, what the oh my god. That poor Barry is so mean. No wonder he gets so old and cynical. I think we've run out of things to say about it though. What do you think? Awesome. My name is Dan.
Toast.
This is Void City Reviews. Is it good? And our verdict was...
Yes.
It was good. Go see it. Like and subscribe. Let us know what you thought of the movie. And we can continue the conversation below in the comments. See you later. That might have been the weirdest ending.
No, it might have been the best ending.
No, the best ending would have been if we were sitting there and said, see you later, and the door opened and George Clooney walked in.